In 1860, there were two brothers from Tipperary in Ireland, and their names were Shanahan, and they took up a post on the Glebe Island abattoirs together. And that was the introduction of my family into the meat processing industry. The other big event, and you can see why this is a big event for me, that I was in my penultimate year of law school. And for those that remember the great oil shock of 1973-74, when cattle prices went from $340 to $40, my father, who had a wholesale business up at Homebush, came to me and said, go and find a career in something else like law, right? So, and that's where I spent my time, although we had the family business running quite some time. So it's always been a passion of mine, the red meat industry. And this opportunity to be the executive chairman for a while to re-establish the direction of the AMPC is just a terrific opportunity for me. So a warm welcome to you all. We're very, very happy that we've got such a big audience together. We've put a terrific number of speakers together, and we even have our own Nobel laureate here to talk to us about climate change. We're delighted to have you here to share the Australian Meat Processors Corporation's inaugural conference. This conference is the culmination of a year-long journey of the AMPC. It began with us closely examining the risks around the industry, and we published that in our strategic risk report. We then held a Feast of Ideas in Wagga Wagga in New South Wales, where we put these issues on the table. And Darren here was saying that when we filmed that, what she wanted was a scene out of River Cottage with beautiful green grass, and I'm saying, this is July in Wagga, right? And when you see the photographs there, that was July in Wagga. It was looking like Ireland. We subsequently explored those issues more fully in our recently released sustainability report and Feast of Ideas microsite. And if you haven't been to see that, then please visit it. Sustainability is critical to our long-term success. It's why we've named the conference the Vital Ingredient. And why we're delighted to bring members, scientists, academics, consultants and producers together to share some of the research, information and best practice that will help us build the thriving red meat industry we all want to see. Most of the research work that we've been doing at the moment is around the entire red meat industry through the eyes of the red meat processors. We don't need to remind the people gathered here today that the red meat industry is the foundation on which many rural communities are built, and that's a responsibility that we take very seriously. It contributes $23 billion annually to the nation's GDP, and with flow-on effects employs 134,000 people. But it's changed phenomenally over the last 20 years, and I think back to 1860 and how it would have changed since then. Changing climate, consumption patterns and the regulatory environment bring new challenges that threaten the entire value chain. The value chain itself is fragmented, reflecting an industry that is disconnected, and the convergence of factors such as animal welfare and environmental impacts are bringing uncertainty around our social licence to operate. In the first session today, we'll have Peter Dyatt from EY. We'll be providing deeper insights into the risks the sector is facing. But we're not here to focus only on risks. There's only understanding risks can you see the opportunities. Our sector is a resilient one and has been going for a significantly long time. And in fact, the introduction of the meat industry in Australia occurred on the first fleet when a bunch of cattle got off with the first settlers, and no one on the first fleet knew what to do with them, and they wandered off. And 40 years later, they were found a big herd of cattle out at a place called Cow Pastures. And that was the start of the meat industry in Australia. Far from being threatened by the challenges we face, the AMPC and its partners are transforming them into exciting opportunities in a host of different ways, many of which you'll hear about over the next 2 days. Through innovation and the new technology that's now available, we're exploring the Internet of Things, where everyday objects are connected. You'll hear from Professor Demetrios on that fascinating topic later in the morning. I'd lift your surname now, Demetrius, because it's such a long Greek name. Anyway, we're looking at robotic picking and packing and how we can use bovine tissue and blood to boost immune systems. We're doing research on producing a sustainable feed base from agricultural waste and looking at options for transforming meat products to boost their acceptance. We're also investing significantly in improving education and employment opportunities. We are delighted that the conference will be hosting the first graduation ceremony for the Graduate Certificate of Agribusiness. We'll have that graduation ceremony tonight. This is a postgraduate vocational qualification developed specifically for senior members of the agri-food industries. And you'll hear over time that we'll be doing a lot more work in the meat science area with the major institutions, university institutions. AMPC is truly honoured that we have been able to attract such an excellent lineup of national and international speakers. Over the next 2 days, again, you'll be hearing from experts such as Professor Ted Schroeder. Did we find Professor? He was lost this morning, on whose work in livestock marketing and price analysis provide information and direction for the livestock industry. You'll hear from Ireland's Declan Troy, who sits on numerous national and international committees formulating research priorities in food science. From our own Nobel Peace Prize winner, Professor Mark Howden, whose work looks at how climate impacts agriculture and food security. And my view is that climate change is a big sleeper for this industry. To further spice up proceedings, we have celebrity chefs Alistair McLeod and Janelle Bloom, who will be entertaining you with their live cook-up. The healthy dialogue we will have over the next 2 days won't only happen within the conference venue. AMPC recognises the importance of social media as getting our message out to the world. Last month, we commissioned research that found that online discussion surrounding red meat processing in Australia is dominated by polarising views of the live export trade. Onshore processing takes a back seat in the debate, and our industry overall is often painted as not transparent enough. Given the potential consequences of poor reputation management, we have adopted a social media strategy which now sees us on platforms like Twitter, Facebook and LinkedIn. This marks the first time AMPC has taken a serious step towards engaging with members of the public via social media, and we have found the experience a great way to engage with and create positive dialogue among producers, processors, politicians, consumers and rural media. In just 1 month, and this is from a standing start, we have had over 13,000 tweet impressions and 4,300 impressions on LinkedIn. But the incredible figure is that on Facebook, with our Feast of Ideas video, we have reached over 25,000 people in the short time they have been with us live. We have received predominantly positive comments throughout this time, and the positive comments become because of a willingness to discuss issues which are difficult. What's more, by sharing key points from the Feast of Ideas report on social media, we've been able to control the conversation around the challenges that we face. This platform is clearly one that engages audience, and the AMPC believes it will be used to promote our industry as open and transparent. We'll be live streaming our cooking demonstration on Facebook just to set some standards, and I encourage everyone here to like our Facebook page, follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter. Remember to use the hashtags The Vital Ingredient and AMPC 2016 when you tweet, to comment on proceedings on your own feeds throughout the next 2 days. We have arranged free Wi-Fi access so that you can surf the net, and the password was up here. I hope when you leave the conference you will have had a few of your long-held beliefs challenged, that you will be excited and inspired by what you have heard so that you can work on the vital ingredient that you yourself have identified for the long-term sustainability of your business and our industry.